Right, so in the last video, we went through and just created some basic audio sound effects and if we look at our scene here, once this is finished reloading, kind of squish this down. If I walk up to my character here, you can see this sound effects object clone appeared. And the same thing with that one as they appear as I'm walking around, and they delete themselves after the length of the clip is done playing. So you can see that here. And I also included where you can record system audio, so you should be able to hear the audio now. All right, what we want to do now is create a little bit more of an advanced audio manager. So let's go to Window here, Audio, and then go to Audio Mixer. And I'm going to dock this audio mixer down here in this palette. And if I hit plus here and I create a new audio mixer, you can see it has this master node here. Now I'm not going to go through every one of these parameters because we just don't have time in this video. But we're going to look at how we can use this mixer to kind of work on some advanced audio tracks and hook it up to an actual UI. All right, so we want to create different groups. So I'm going to click this and I'm going to call this SFX, and that's going to be for sound effects. Select your master and then create one and call it music. And what's cool about this is each one of these groups will be used as a different mixer to control the audio in our scene. Now, something to take note of is if you look down at the bottom where it says attenuation here, this really just means volume. Now, in order to control the volume of each one of these areas, if you select sound effects, for example, we're going to right click here and do expose volume to script. And you'll see expose parameters 1, and it says my exposed parameter. Let's do the same thing for music, expose that parameter. You can see there's parameter 1 and parameter 2 here. And this is going to allow us to access the volume to a script. Let's also do that for this one. Right click, expose volume of master. And then in this one, which I believe is, yes, this is volume of master. Just double click it. There we go. It lets us expose it and then just master volume. And then I'm just going to copy volume here and I'm going to pause it. I'm going to rename this one music and this one SFX. So now you can see I have a volume for master, a volume for music, and an SFX volume. So inside of our scripts folder up top, I'm going to create a new one. I'm just going to right click, create C# script, and then I'm going to pause the video and I'm just going to name it Sound Mixer Manager. Then I'm going to do a hard press on this, copy that, create a empty game object here, call that Sound Mixer Manager. With that selected, go ahead and drag your Sound Mixer Manager onto that object. All right, let's go ahead and double click and open up this script. All right, so because we want to be using Unity's audio libraries, I'm just going to go to using unity.engine. I'm going to duplicate that by hitting Control D and then just type in audio here. Now that'll give us access to all of the code in the audio classes. All right, let's go ahead and create a variable that's going to store a reference to our audio mixer. All right, let's save that. And this is what the code looks like. It's a serialized field, even though it's private. And then what we can do back in Unity here is on our Sound Mixer Manager. You can click that in there. Now you can see we have an exposed variable for audio mixer. And then down at the bottom, you can see we have a new audio mixer that was created. It's just inside of our assets folder. I want to drag that into our audio folder here. And then with our Sound Mixer Manager here, you can lock it if you have difficulty like clicking and dragging in there. And just remember to unlock it. But now we have access to our Audio Mixer Manager, which has those 3 exposed properties. We can actually kind of drag this. No, I guess we can't adjust the orders because it's alphabetical. All right, let's go back to our script. I'm going to pause the video and type out some code. All right, so I have 3 different methods here. They don't do anything yet, but all they are is one is going to be used for setting the master volume, setting the sound effects volume, and then one is going to be called for setting the music value, and they each have a float, which is called level. All right, so let's quickly create the UI that's going to be used to control the slider. So here's our game window essentially, and what I think I'm going to do is we're going to have to eventually we'll trigger a button that controls the volume. But for now, let's just go ahead and create the UI. So I'm going to right click inside of our canvas and I'm going to create a UI panel. And this panel, let's go ahead and hit, let's dock our game on our side for a second here. And just kind of zoom out, give ourselves a little bit of room here. So this panel, what I'd like it to be is maybe it just pops up in the corner of our game. And so I'm sort of using my game window here as a way to sort of, and notice how as I'm moving this, it's adjusting the panel size, which is not bad, but let's see. Yeah, I think that's okay. Because when we hit the key, this panel is going to pop up. And then as a child of this panel, we're going to create 3 sliders. And each one of those sliders is going to adjust the master. So go ahead and go to UI here and then create a slider. And then we're just going to call this master slider. And you can see here, here's our master slider. And it's what we can do on our panel here is we can adjust this slider here, and that's going to be for our master volume. And what I can also do here is, as a child of this, I can right click and go to UI and then do Text Mesh Pro, and then I can just place this on top and just call this, change this to volume. And then I'm going to just duplicate this by hitting Control D, select my move tool and just move this down. And this, actually, let's just select both of these and move them way up here. And then this one will be called SFX volume. And actually, we could just probably just do SFX. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And then this could be for, oops, we want to not duplicate just SFX. I'm going to duplicate the whole thing. Actually, let's just change this to, while we're at it, to SFX volume slider. And then let's duplicate this. And then we're going to name this one to music slider. And let's just make sure that this is all named properly and that inside of here, we also change this to music. Save that. And we will script it eventually. So you hit escape or something and this pops up. Let's maybe make our panel a little bit nicer. Adjust this so that it kind of sits a little bit. And then these 3 are down in place better. And that way they all kind of, you know what, this panel needs, let me see something, canvas. I think constant pixel size is what we're looking for. Let's check out our game view here. Let's see. So if we press play here, yeah, it doesn't look bad. We can always adjust those, but yeah, we'll eventually have it where this panel, we'll just name this audio panel. Like I said, we can do a very simple script where the audio panel turns on and off if we hit escape. But for now, let's leave it on so we can finish scripting the setup. Actually, it's still not scaling uniformly. It's a canvas. A constant physical size, is that what we want? I think that's what we want, constant physical size. So audio panel. Second. Oh, you know what? We want this to be, I guess we do want it scale with screen size. See how that looks when we press play. Yeah, I think that's what we want. So as we're playing our game, these kind of scale out, I believe. Either way, let's redock this. I think that's good. We'll play with that later. And then in our scene, let's make sure our panel, our audio panel here, fits right. Let's go back to our game. And honestly, maybe we just kind of darken that up a little bit, or so back to the code. So let's keep cracking away on this. All right, so actually scripting this is pretty easy. All we have to do is grab this audio mixer here, which is going to be, that audio mixer that we had. And there was those three different, remember, master, music, and SFX. So inside of here, we have our master. And let's go ahead and make sure that, because we need the spelling to be exact as master volume here. So I'm just hard pressing in there, copying this master volume. And then inside of our script here, all we have to do is do audio mixer.set float. And then it takes two parameters. One is master volume, and then the level that you want to place it at. Now what we're going to do is we're going to map this method here to the, so like if we move our master slider here, which is this value here, see how that moves as I update it? We're just mapping level to that, and we're going to use this to map to that level. So it's going to adjust that attenuation down here, which is just our volume level. But before we do that, I'm just going to hit Control D to duplicate this, and hit Alt, move this down, Control D, and move it. Or you can just copy and paste it. And then we need SFX, and then we need our master volume. So just go in here, go to the next one, grab music volume here, and paste that inside of music. And then this one is just SFX, if I remember correctly. And this early in the morning, my memory gets a little faulty. So let's just make sure, yeah, SFX volume. You see how inside of this mixer too, where our minimum value is 0 and our max volume is minus 80 decibels. So inside of each one of these, our master slider here, essentially our min value is minus 80, and our max value is 0 here. So it has to match that decibel range. So actually select all three of these, and then just go ahead and just make your min value minus 80, and then your max value is 0. And now when you click on each one of those, it should update that. Right, so how do we adjust this? Well, let's start with master slider. I'm going to hit plus. And it says on value changed, no function. Well, if you remember, we have this sound mixer manager that has this script attached to it. And now when I click in here, it says no function. We go to sound mixer manager. You could see we have set master volume float, which is there. And then we have, if we go to our SFX here, we can click on that. We can grab our sound mixer manager, drop that in there. It says no function. And then we just say, well, we want our SFX, set SFX music volume method from there. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to hit plus, grab our sound mixer manager, and we want to access the set music volume float method. And if you recall, that's these methods that we created right here. Actually, what might be better is if we go into here and we go to dynamic float, what this will do is this will give us a real-time account for it. So I'm just going to set that. I'm going to go back in and just redo each one of those. So instead of having to type a value in there or scripting it, it'll actually use the slider that's inside of here. So this is when we actually wanted SFX volume. Let's make sure this was on music. This one is on SFX, and then this one we're going to make sure that we are selecting master volume, and that'll map to this value here. Now we don't actually have any music in our scene yet, so I'm actually going to create a empty object here and just call it audio, and I'm going to drop these two in here, and then I'm going to create another empty game object. I'm going to call this music manager. We're going to do this one a little easy. We'll just add an audio source and just have it playing like a looping music, and go inside of this folder here, and then see if you can let's see, UI menu, SFX. I don't know. This is sound effects. Let's see if there's any. They gave us any music. Let's go ahead and just really quickly go back here and go to audio, music, and just quickly download some free music. And sounds good to me. So I'm going to add that to my ad sets, hit accept, go open in Unity, and I'm just going to download and just look for the name Casual Game BGM, hit import again. This is just background music. And let's see, where is that at? There we go. It's up top here, casual. And honestly, I could probably just throw this inside this Leopads folder just so it's all in the same place. Sounds good to me. So here's my music manager, and I'm going to grab background music 1, drop it inside of here. I'll probably set the volume maybe to 0.5 because it's a little loud for me. So, well, we have our controller. All right, so we have a music manager, we have this audio here, and then output audio mixer group. So, so we have our sound effects manager here. We have our sound effects audio object here. Just make sure in order to hear it, you need to click on this, and then you need to select your SFX for your output in the audio source here. And then for music manager, make sure that you select your music manager here. And let's see, sound mixer. We have our new audio mixer. And then that's this guy right here. And then sound effects manager, we have that here. And that's how we're going to map which one, the volume, SFX, or music. All right, so let's test it out. And looks like we have a null reference. So which one is that for? Scene managers, level manager. Okay, that's something that we always have because we're not playing from main menu. But you can see now when I press play, and I can now adjust the volume. And it's adjusting master music. And now I can also control my SFX. That's it. We now have a mixer. And in the future, because this video is running a little long, we'll write a script to make this audio panel appear and disappear when we hit escape.